I can call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Caucus.
Here.
Mrs. Passio. Here. Mr. Ranieri.
Here.
Mr. Robinstein.
Stein.
Lobenstein. Mr. Farrell.
Yes. Here.
Mrs. Kelly. Here. Mr. Root.
Here.
Mr. Wood.
Here.
Mr. Bayshore.
Here.
And Mr. Lowell is not here.
Mr. Law's on his way. Statement, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 4th, 2017. And two, emailed to the retrospect and the Courier Post on January 4th, 2017. The first order of business we have is our bond ordinance 17-07. We're actually going to, this is actually something we're going to have to vote on this evening. We can go over this. So as everyone's aware, you got copies of the bond ordinance, which is for $874,000, which includes 400, can't do the math.
You want me to give it to you? I got the numbers here.
What's the difference between the bond and what we're getting?
I don't have the math like that, sorry.
Okay, thanks.
It's $1,337,000.
Total.
And it's 874 because the difference is the.
463,000.
Grants?
So we have $463,000 worth of grants that we're getting.
No, they're the grants and the 5% down.
And our deposit. So 463 includes the grants, which is 200,000 from the DOT, the 150,000 from CDBG, the 33,000 from CDBG, and then our $42,000 deposit down payment, which was in our budget. Yeah. So just to be clear, our down payment, yes, is $46,000. It's a C on the agenda here.
Right.
Okay.
What's
So-
the percent? Is there a percentage of that goes out?
It's 5%. So when we passed our budget, we had to put 5% in to cover our bond. So let's just, if you go to the next page, reconstruction and repavement of various roads and streets. The first two items on there is going to be finishing Washington Avenue and finishing South Oakland, which the bids came in already. The numbers came in a little better than we thought, so we're in good shape there. So we should be able to award that contract. We can actually vote on that this evening. We can award the contract for those road improvements. And then with the additional money that's left over, the state of New Jersey just gave us another $208,000. Mr. Bayshore just let me know that we just need to have our money for design and that kind of work. So to authorize him this evening to start doing the design work. So does everybody understand the money that we saved on the bid? We can authorize the design work because the state wants us to spend the money within, you said 18 months. But we could do the design work immediately and put it out for bid as early as the fall, right? Is that what you're?
It's good that we anticipated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
So that's the 325, with 200,000 coming from the DOT. The acquisition of various equipment for the Public Works Department, that's $60,000. That includes the rebuild for the 800 truck to get a whole new bed on it with the salter, and was there anything else on that? Well, I mean, on the truck, though, it was just those two items on the truck.
Yes.
And there was a bunch of equipment that was on the list that was all bondable. That's why it only has a 5-year period of usefulness. The various improvements to the municipal building and other buildings in the town. This is the one where we've got $217,000 that's coming from the county, leaving a balance of $522 for the town to spend on all the other buildings and everything else. The acquisition of the LED board, we've got 40 on there, so we'll be able to get that done this year. The police department,
What's the time frame on that?
which one?
The LED board?
Well, it depends if it's below the bid threshold. So we could just go out and get several quotes from different manufacturers. So with Bob being a QPA, he should be able to get us 3 numbers. And
So we anticipated,
I would say within the next couple of months. Yeah.
Towers ready?
Good.
Yeah, the original
A lot of
contractor,
organizations are asking me about it because they want to start posting.
yeah, the contractor already put the foundation in and already put the electricity's out there. So think about it, all we're doing is we're purchasing the actual board and then we're purchasing the sign, and so that'll be okay. The police department-
3 months.
Yeah. The police department at this
Maybe
point,
a little bit,
yeah, we have to,
so, you know.
well, first of all, it takes 30 more days to get this approved. That's why we have to do it this evening,
Yeah.
and then we'll do it in 30 days, we'll have our public hearing.
Okay.
So the police department, they're looking to redo their patrol room and do some repairs in there, and some equipment that they want to buy. The acquisition of a new police vehicle with all the bells and whistles, I get the chief's not here this evening. And then the fire department, the two vehicles at the fire department with the equipment they have. All these numbers are slightly exaggerated so that they give us a little bit of a cushion. Okay, is there any other questions on this bond ordinance?
Isn't that stuff we talked about, you know?
It's all been years.
Yeah.
Can we make a motion?
Yeah, you have to make a motion, and the only thing we need to say in the motion is when we're gonna have our public meeting.
The 27th of June is the next.
So June 27th, so it'll be a motion for first reading,
I'll make a motion for first reading on this bond ordinance for our next meeting.
for a public hearing to be held on June
For the public
27th
hearing to be held on June 27th
at 6 PM.
at 6 PM.
Okay, is there a
I'll
second?
second that motion.
So motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mrs.
Absent.
Garcia.
Yes.
Mr. Ruth.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
All right.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, do the resolution.
So the resolution is to authorize Bachman Associates to do the design work for the reconstruction of Elm Avenue.
Element Constitution, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the part of the DOT funding is that.
It's Elm and Broadway,
Element,
but I don't know if we'll have enough money to do Broadway, but if you want to keep that in the resolution. Elm and Broadway? Yes. Okay,
Element Broadway, okay, I'm sorry, I think Constitution was already done.
Constitution's the intersection street.
Okay, so Element Broadway, so it'll be, resolution, what number would that be, Joyce?
I have no idea. Doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, so there's I need a motion for a resolution to be determined to authorize Bach Associates to do the design work
I'll
for,
also move.
okay?
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, because we're spending money here.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Ruth.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, so the resolution is adopted. We might as well get the other resolution resolved, even though we don't have it. Do you want to go just quickly over the bids that came in for Oakland?
We received bids last week for Oakland and Washington. The base bid, which left out one of the blocks on Washington, was for American Asphalt for $154,047.52. But if you add in the add alternate, which completes the project in its entirety, it's for Lambert Construction in the amount of $226,989.22. And we originally estimated it at $240,000, so it came in under budget. If we do the add alternate, which is our recommendation, as long as you have sufficient funds to do that project. That would finish out South Oakland in its entirety, and it would finish out Washington in its entirety. The only exception to that is the handicap ramps on the state road, which is Clemens Bridge Road in that vicinity, would not be done. We're going to leave the handicap ramps out of the scope,
Why would we not do the handicap?
because in order to work in the state right away, we would need to get a state road opening permit and pay for crash trucks and the like. So we don't want to be spending borough money to be doing improvements in the state right away.
Okay.
Sounds good. So our recommendation would be to
You
the
would
Lambert
do
construction.
the Lambert for the add-on.
Okay.
Okay, so the funds are there. This is the DOT funding that we got previously that was sent to us, the other $200,000. So part of the bond this evening would cover this. However, since we do have some savings on last year's bond, we're able to do this. Our solicitor basically says that we could authorize this evening pending final approval on funding, correct?
Correct, with the understanding that the work will commence full time.
Yeah. Okay? So we need a motion, this will be resolution, whatever the next one in order is, to approve the award of the contract to Lambert Construction in the amount of $226,989.22.
I'll make the motion to approve the Lambert bid for $226,989.
Yeah.
989, 22.
22.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Passio. So, motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes.
Mr. Ruth.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Renier.
Yes.
Okay, so that's taking care of 2 things. So when Bob gets here, we'll go over the funding issue. All right, new business for discussion for this evening's meeting. 2 fire company raffle licenses. We'll do them at the regular meeting.
No, I'm not gonna be here.
That's fine. We don't need a super majority for that, as long as we have the 3 votes plus mine.
No, it's only when we're spending, what do you call it? The finance kind of things, budget.
Yes, you need super majority. Yes,
so
we're fine. 3 votes is,
This be good.
so we'll take care of that.
That'll be okay.
Discussion of firefighter sidebar agreement. This is just we'll need a resolution for that. This basically identifies that the part-time employee that we're gonna hire at the fire department,
Mr. Shaw,
whomever that is,
did you ever get the paperwork?
So the thing that I.
He's a trainee, and he's been working with.
they basically said it was okay. They sent back the letter. You didn't see the letter? They basically said they agreed that he's part-time and not exposed to the contract in any way.
Did I do it as an
You can have it for the Tuesday's meeting.
They weren't signing
His
it,
name
they agreed.
is Michael Ellershaw.
Gotta be something. The sidebar, see what it says?
Was he supposed to be appointed as?
All right, I will talk to Mr. Cameron.
Part-time EMT.
That they wouldn't change. I have to look at the letter they sent out.
I'll call him. I've emailed him
Well, we have until Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of time. Resolution for a totally disabled vet, we'll take care of that. Discussion of the HVAC maintenance contract with Bovio. At this point, it was already an O&E issue, but just to keep everybody aware of what's going on, Mr. Wazunk went out and solicited vendors to maintain the borough's heating and air conditioning systems. With some help from Mr. Ranieri, we had a list put together, we got a quote. At this point, we've basically, I wouldn't say awarded it, but we're under contract with Bovio to replace the filters, do routine maintenance, and he won
All the buildings?
all the buildings. And he was the lowest bidder on the heating and air conditioning unit that was just actually replaced today. So, and that money was already allotted. So if you were noticing at the Borough parking lot today, a crane was in there lifting up a new 15-ton unit, or what was it?
12
12-ton unit? So the 12, I felt the air on today, so I'm assuming the 12-ton units were, yeah. And so they replaced that, and then we did find out though that there's a unit not working in the police department and a unit not working in the construction department. Is that accurate? So under this maintenance agreement, they'll do it, send us bills, and things like that. So I don't believe there's any action that needs to be taken. No. Public hearing on ordinance 17-06, Harry Williams Building. That establishes the fees for the Harry Williams Building, and specifically, it was exempting other youth organizations that are affiliated either with the borough activities or with the schools. Youth-based,
Not parents, not
yes. Yeah.
guardians, not.
So we'll do final reading.
And it should be clear that the Harry Williams is only rented to town organizations.
It can be rented to other than town organizations, but they pay a higher fee. And then it's still limited. Remember, Mike, do you remember exactly? I don't have it in front of me, but there were different thresholds.
Yeah, you know.
What was that?
Obviously, the town can-
Other non-profits.
Yeah, no profit, yes. No for-profits could rent the building, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, but other nonprofits, so if a nonprofit in Gloucester Township wanted to come in, they could use it, but they would pay a much higher fee than that's an ordinance we passed, I think, last year. Okay, so this just makes an amendment on it. Discussion of side job police ordinance. This was something that we started and kind of got sidetracked on. This identifies the rates that are charged for the public utilities that come into town, other street opening, any kind of traffic control, the DMV, Triton High School, those kinds of things. So right now, we don't have an ordinance that puts it all together. So
What we have all separate.
we have a bunch of separate agreements. So the idea would be to consolidate these or, what's the term?
Make it cleaner.
I like consolidating.
Like consolidate?
There's uniform, so.
What's the word I used to always say, codify? We don't, she doesn't like that word, she doesn't like codify.
Because we're already codified.
She wants to remind me all the time. She doesn't like me to say codify. So we'll put the ordinances together. So that's something that,
Good.
you know, it'll be coming mostly from the police department.
Cleaner.
The police department basically has all the rates. We just need to put it on a piece of paper and then council will pass an ordinance.
So you're gonna do that next week?
We might do first reading on it. Maybe not, but it's a discussion. We gotta start putting it together.
We can always do first reading,
Bruce loves it when we do that, just
and then you can decide that you're not gonna announce what we're gonna do here. At least get the ball rolling so you can work on it.
Okay, well, then we will just do first.
You can say, okay, we're gonna have our.
Then someone knows where all these things are.
Okay, so Saji, but we gotta get this done. I will talk to the chief of police about this. Discussion of salary resolution. This has to do with the non-union, non-statutory employees. We currently have 4 employees that fall under no contracts, no agreements. That would be the chief of police, the treasurer, the assistant superintendent of public works, and the assistant superintendent of sewer. My recommendation is to match what we did with every other employee in town. Basically, we've been following, if anybody read the paper over the weekend, the 2% cap, which basically is a good guidance for how much money we should be spending every year, or at least increasing. So I'm making a recommendation to those 4 employees. They do deserve the 2%. You know, I don't think that would be fair not to give it to them when we get it.
We have to give it to the others.
We're required to give it to everybody else. These are 4 that we don't. The only thing that they've always understood is they would wait for us to pass a budget. So in years past, if everyone remembers, there were years where we had no raises. And because we were contractually obligated to give the other people raises, we were not contractually obligated to give these people raises. There are some additional titles, part-time titles that I don't think we need to make any changes right now. If you remember, the past couple of years, we did raise the crossing guards, we did raise the, we gave the judge, the prosecutor, the special police officers. We've done that in the past, but I mean, those are ones we don't do every single year.
No.
Solicitor has not gotten a raise, so, so that's my recommendation. I mean, the only thing I would say is we would have to pass this out. Christie, our payroll clerk, is putting together the numbers, so as long as there's not any real objection to it, I think next meeting, we will just put those 4 individuals with the 2%. It would be retroactive to January, so they would get it based on the whole year.
Definitely sounds fair.
Okay. Anybody
I'm
comments?
in agreement, even though I won't be here, but I'm in agreement.
Well, that's, you guys? Harry's contractual. He's got a contract right now. He's walking a tightrope. He's gonna keep walking.
I'm fine with it.
No problem.
Okay.
It's fair.
Discussion of the FCR with Camden LLC. Mr. Wilson, is that yours?
Yeah, that's the agreement with, I spoke a couple months ago at the Caucus where we were up in the air about how recycling is affecting us, and when the economy drops out, how much it costs us. This was the what if. We were looming doom on it for our budgeting. There was talk of having to pay close to $35 a ton to drop the recycling when the market's out. Camden County went out, did a request for proposals for us, municipalities, all except for 2 municipalities, which I still didn't find out who were, didn't sign up with it, but we did. And with that, the proposals came back that right now, Camden County was paying, if the market dropped below 75%, they were almost paying $19 a ton to drop the material last year. It was $17 or $19. This contract came in for us, this proposal came in. If the market drops below 70%, which actually gives us an extra 5%, then it's only a $5 tipping fee for recycling. So it's drastically, numbers have came down, and it's only if the market bottoms out. Right now, the market is up with cardboard. That's what's saving the United States right now is cardboard and buy Amazon. Everybody buy Amazon, we're keeping recycling
$1,000
going.
a share today.
So that's where it's going right now. Glass, there's no market in glass anymore. The metals are down, to the lowest that it's been in 10 years again. So right now, the cardboard and virgin paper products is what's,
That's what we want to see in our recycles?
yeah.
Well, what he's saying is that certain items have more value.
That's where the value is.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still gonna recycle everything, because remember, every ton that goes to the recycling center is a
Diverted from the.
$75 a ton
Yes.
savings. So we want to continue recycling. What the issue was, is that all the municipalities already passed their budgets, and then the county says, wait a second, we might have to hit everybody with a $30,000 or $50,000 charge.
Pay for that.
So by going out for bid, our exposure, what did we figure our exposure would be? Did you ever figure out how many tons we recycled? Was it about 400 tons, 500
No,
tons?
it's about 870
It
tons.
was 870 tons.
Was last year's recycling ton. But what we figured, round numbers, so everybody knows, figure $1,000 tons would be $5,000.
Yes.
Compared to where we were looking at, 1,000 tons at 35, that would be a $35,000 fee. So what it does is what we did with crunching some numbers is where we had changed our yard waste collector, where we're actually taking our yard waste, that savings there, it actually washes out this budget. So there's should be no increase in the budget, no last minute emergency or anything like that. We'll be able to absorb it in what we have already now in sanitation.
So this is something we could do at the next meeting with just 3 votes? We could do this, just to approve it. I mean, I think it makes sense. It's a shared service with the county. They've established the contract. Worst case scenario, we would have to pay $5 times the 1,000, which is not so.
Well, only the ones that it's dropped. So it's not continuous. So it's only when the market drops out.
So if the market went up, we could always get a check again. If you remember, we used to get a check as high as $20,000 or $30,000 a year
Oh, I know.
for recycling.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Should Len review this?
Yeah. Yes, we'll do it for next month. I don't think it's pretty
Want a copy of
good.
this, Len, to
So
look at?
all said and done, our annual fee should be a wash.
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, I think what Harry's also saying is we were taking our yard waste to Gloucester Township and we were paying $20 a ton.
We're paying $17 a ton. Now we take it to another vendor and it's $5.
So we're saving $12 a ton on the yard waste.
And
So if we pay, if anything, hopefully we'll still save money in the long run. Okay, that's easy. Discussion of bids on South Oakland and Washington, we've already resolved that. And then the last issue is discussion of the VFW playground. If I could just elaborate on this. You've got, Ms. Kelly is our representative to the insurance company. However, this was already in the works. So the county has already given us a $25,000 recreation grant. So what Mr. Walzunk is suggesting is that the town, we front the $25,000 to order the equipment immediately, and then we'll be reimbursed by the grant. And that will mitigate all those insurance. I don't need you to go through them, but we know that there's pieces of equipment that are broken. There's stuff that we can't get parts for it. So I think the idea was to get this thing ordered and get it installed how quickly if we were to pass it. We'll rip the old equipment out, put a brand new piece of equipment, which will meet all of the criteria, and then you'll put it in mulch and other things.
We met with one vendor, which is looking at state contract because of the cost of it, which is $25,000. We're looking at rubber mulch, which is long-standing, so you're not paying constantly for mulch, so that would be a savings in time. Right now, the material there, the playground is ready for 5 to 12-year-olds. We had kind of requests for like with the neighborhoods, stuff like that, to go from 2 to 12, but it'll be more towards the littler kids with it, because the activity's right there. The swing set can be saved, and actually recertified, which is a plus, that's money can be saved. The edging, 3/4 of it can be saved, but pretty much we'll have to reset the edging, and we're looking at turnkey with the manufacturer for to meet all the safety standards and so forth like that, instead of us installing it in the liability. It'll be a turnkey, and we're looking right around 25,000 with the grant. And that's with everything, that's with having the mulch put down, the rubber mulch,
And
everything.
then you'll have the JIF come and inspect it again?
Yeah, they have to come again and do it
Meets
certified,
requirements.
but it will be all certified.
What's the
80 day.
timeframe?
With it, they're looking at a 6-week lead time on ordering, so as soon as the money is available and so forth that way, the goal is actually, we gotta do a lot of work of tearing out what's there.
Who's gonna do that?
Public Works will do that.
And then
So
what will you do with that material?
that all material there, majority of it's metal, that will be recycled and gone that way. The fiber that's still there will be used as a base, and they'll put fabric down and go on top of that.
I'm not sure if I wasn't listening or didn't say, we can utilize most of what's there, swings, right?
The one swing set we can.
Only the one.
It's just the one?
Yeah.
And what other new items are they putting in, the actual equipment?
They're putting a couple of prices together on designs that we can bring back for everybody to pick.
Kids, yeah, the little snakes.
Two-year-old.
the
Well,
2 to 12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
that's great, okay, can I have a
Love
catalog?
those things.
Can I have
So
a catalog?
what we'll do is, what I'd like to do, we've kind of discussed this because of this issue with the insurance
That's
company.
fine.
Let's pass a resolution this evening from council authorizing to spend the money. Obviously, with the condition that our CFO certifies the funds, as long as the solicitor's okay with that, to say that, you know, as long as we can fund the money and then wait for the grant to come in.
Counties confirm.
County sent us a letter saying we've got the grant. So we've got the letter. So the idea was to use that letter against our own money and pay for it. There was only one other small caveat. The land that this park is on isn't actually our land. So we've got
Who
to,
doesn't?
the sports are,
Let me get the AD.
okay. So the sports outlet owns the land.
Wow.
They leased it back to the VFW, and then the VFW and us are basically partners. So Commander Sampolsky and I have been talking, we've got an agreement now with the property owner to deed the land directly to us. So it takes the VFW out of it, they don't want any liability, even though it's called the VFW playground, and we'll continue it to be the
So
VFW
that's
more.
gonna be a condition.
That can be a condition.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be.
It can be, and I can, yeah, so
Right.
the only thing we'll need is, we're gonna need 3 things. Obviously, the property owners, his only concern was that that would be taken off his assessment, which I don't think that's a big deal. Joyce and I have been talking with Brian to figure out what that assessment is, take that off his property. And then a legal description, which I don't know how we would
Is
do
it a
it.
separate lot currently?
It is not acceptable.
Okay. Well, we need a legal, here's what we do, we can do it the normal way, you
Yeah,
know how to do that.
he's good.
You can do a subdivision by ordinance.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
So, once we get the legal description, we can then do an ordinance subdividing the property, we don't have to go through the whole planning board, yada, process. Just because it'll take less time for us to do. Because
Who's gonna do the survey? Do you know who's?
We're gonna have Bach do the survey.
Oh, okay.
Bach will have to do the survey and get us a legal description.
So, and then, we'll reach out to the tax assessor, so he can tell us how he wants to call it, what lot he wants to call it, we know what block it's going to be, because it'll be the same block, so that when we do it, we can identify it right away, and it's all clean. And then, I suspect we're gonna do the deeds, since we're getting the property.
So you're gonna do the deed,
So,
and you'll record the deed.
we'll do everything that has to happen. So then we'll do a deed from them to us.
And there's no compensation unless it has to be a
Yeah,
dollar.
it'll be $1, we'll do all the bells and whistles stuff that we have to do, so, we can do that.
Okay.
I think we have to do it by ordinance, it's just a resolution, but I'll double check.
So you think this, but can I do a resolution though to authorize moving forward?
Authorize moving forward with this pending the funding and pending the property being deeded to us.
Okay, has everyone got all that?
I think that's.
So the next resolution in order would be the resolution authorizing the Public Works Department to pursue the $25,000 grant to purchase the playground equipment, subject to available funding and,
Deed.
what do you,
Transfer
subdivision,
deed?
subdivision, it's actually
Well, yeah, subdivision and the property being given.
subdivision, the property being
Property.
used.
Is
You
that,
got that?
is
You
that a
got
motion?
that choice?
Is that a motion?
Well, you have to make a
It's all
motion, I can't make a
it's all
motion.
on the money.
Somebody, say something.
Should I do it?
Same move.
I'd like to make a motion to get the VFW playground underway, pending the financings in order, and also the transfer of any of the deeds.
Very good. Subdivision. Motion by Mr. Ranieri,
I'll second that.
second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Oh, Thank
Mr.
you.
Root?
because
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
It's all right.
I didn't mean to jump on that, I know you wanted to bring it up, but Mr. Wozop was already aware of the
I know he
report,
is.
and so he had already started. I mean, John gave this letter, I guess, to everyone. And
Everyone.
so,
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody saw the letters, but that's what was wrong. Actually, we sent it to Freddie, but I'm sure.
Well, he's our safety coordinator.
Yeah. Okay, before we go around the table, I have a communication that I need to read to everyone, and we need to act on this also. It's dated May 30th, 2017, Mayor and Council. Dear Mayor and Council, please accept this letter as notice of resignation due to medical reasons effective June 30th, 2017. As discussed with Mr. Wood, I will be utilizing my accrued sick time until that date. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the Borough of Runnemede. Sincerely, Richard Wright. So, at this point, council has to act to accept this resignation letter.
I make a motion to accept his resignation with regret, with great regret. He served us so beautifully for all those years. It's very sad. And I make that motion.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll second the motion.
Second. Okay, motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor?
No, it was Eleanor.
Mrs. Kelly.
Oh, Ms. Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at you.
Aye.
Ms. Kelly, seconded by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So, is there any other business? We don't do any other business with this at this point?
It is its own lot.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, that makes it really easy.
Well, this is this little triangle.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it great.
Is that correct?
Oh, well, check.
This is the tax map, and it's divided by the road, 20603.
Yeah,
Sports Depot.
So these are owned by the same.
Where's Blackfish Pike?
Here's where the VFW is right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
this one.
That's it.
Okay.
No, but it's-
603 is the sports depot, and then this is the Borough.
All of that.
Yeah, they should all be consolidated. This should all be one large.
Well, that's, we have to find out whether or not it's in fact been consolidated by the tax assessor, which he has the right to do. If it's still being carried as a separate lot, then it's been, thank you, man, we don't need to.
Okay.
If it's not,
Is that
yeah,
better?
it is. Yeah. You want it to take 3 weeks or 3 months?
Do you want to reach out to Mr. Steiner? Do you know Mr. Steiner?
I do not.
You don't know our assessor?
But I will.
Yeah, if you were, because, I mean, we don't have, there might be stakes out there, because they did do some work there a few years
But
ago.
we'll still need blocks worth, it still has to be surveyed, so that there's a legal description. If it exists, that's great, we don't have.
And you have authority from us to do a survey now, so we need, not break time, not bot time. We need
Quit time.
quick time.
I only have one question.
Sir?
Everybody's laughing, but
What is being done to prevent the children from using that now?
That's a good question. Did you remove some of the equipment that was
Is it
considered
locked?
hazardous?
Is it locked?
No, we're waiting to have the confirmation to actually just close it off completely. And
Oh, it's not closed off yet.
no, we have, one piece of equipment was removed.
So the one dangerous piece was
Yes.
removed. I mean, I wouldn't want us to close the park. It does get used, but I agree, any piece of equipment that's on this list should be removed. Right? So we can remove anything on the list. You have this list? And then, keep it open.
Okay. As long as possible, don't.
Yeah, and then when the equipment comes in, then we just have to coordinate the closing. It's always inconvenient. I mean, there's a, I get enough phone calls.
But it's safe for now.
From what I understand, they've been already down there, but this list was given to us on May 10th. So it was about 3 weeks ago.
Aaron, you'll double check everything and make sure it's safe right now if it's going to stay open. Okay, great, that's what we need.
Good.
okay?
Because it wants to go down there.
All right, so we'll go around the room real quick. Ms. Passo, you want to go first?
Oh, geez, thank you so much. Okay, I want to say, I want to thank all the residents and everyone that came out yesterday for our Memorial Day services. It was absolutely wonderful. A lot of participation. So I just want to thank everyone for that. Let me see, I have a thank you. I'd like to read it. It's with warm appreciation. Dear Mayor Caucus and council members, a note to tell you thanks so much. You always have a thoughtful touch. Many thanks for coming to St. Teresa School and issuing a proclamation to me for my 80th birthday and 60 years as an Immaculate Heart of Mary teaching sister. What a surprise you bestowed upon me, and all the teachers, staff, and children even were amazed that you took the time from your busy day to make this such a blessed and memorable one for all of us, and especially me. Love, prayers, and gratitude, Sister Patrick Maureen Darcy, Immaculate Heart of Mary. And she included this, which was in their, was in the bulletin. So that's just something very special. We'll keep that, yeah, that's what I thought. Also, we're going to have a concert coming up this month. Let's see, the concert will be on June 21st. Greater Kensington String Band will begin at 6:30. We do not have a stage. We do not have a stage, but that's fine. I know, and I reached out to the county, and the county called me, and then I called them back. It's just been a back and forth. Yeah, so.
What about budget-wise? You want to reach out to Belmar again, or see? We can talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll
We're
talk
gonna
about that
have to
later.
advertise, though. We do have to advertise as much as possible.
Yeah, so we're having a nice concert, and if we don't have a stage, so they're not up there. They're
Okay.
down on the ground, and we can participate and have even more fun maybe. So that will be for, what date did I say? Oh my gosh, June 21st, Greater Kensington String Band at 6:30. And then we are going to have another concert on July 19th, and then another one on August 23rd.
You have
String
stages for
Band.
those two.
So, no, we don't have stages at all, so we're just gonna we'll make do, we'll do fine. If I can get them, fine, and if not, that's okay. So we will make out.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if everyone knows, I received a $2,000 grant for sustainability, and our borough did. And I didn't see the application myself. Did you see the application? Did anyone here see the application? You did. It was for,
pollinators.
it was for,
Well, that's because
was-
of the monarch
it
butterflies.
was great. It was
was
for
for
the butterfly gardens,
Yes.
for the seed and for everything that we need to make, to do like about probably
You got it.
4 butterfly gardens. But Harry, you need to communicate with Patty and find out how we're gonna disperse, talk to Greg and find out how we're gonna disperse these funds when we need the funds, and, okay, and since, your public works, okay? All right, so we can pollinate throughout the town, so, okay, and, I guess that's it. Can anybody think of anything else that you wanna ask me?
It's been a long
Oh,
time.
it has, we've worked very hard to
We go.
That's
do,
it.
so,
That's it.
thank you,
I'll
progress.
just roll right in.
Mr. Ranieri?
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming. We have our youth from Mayor Youth and Council here, and that's
I
part,
have the shirts on it. Sorry.
and that is part of the exhausting, I guess, 3 weeks we've had.
Yeah.
We wore, what did we do? We
Oh, the
wore,
newsletter, the Youth Mayor and Council.
Newsletter,
Memorial
Youth
Day.
Mayor- Memorial, the meet and greet, it's just bing bang, and everything else, right?
Yeah.
The
Um,
technical time.
And as far as the finance, you stole my thunder, the bond ordinance was, I was all over it with my numbers, I was gonna break it down, but you did all that.
I tried, I wanted to make sure we were. okay.
You did great.
He's good at it.
We're gonna, just to add a little bit, we're gonna, of course, acquire our short-term funding for this bond as required. And the mayor broke down everything as far as the vehicles that we're gonna be purchasing and the improvements, et cetera. I'm sure Bob's gonna elaborate on all that. But,
Does Bob have a copy of the ordinance?
since everything's been public events for me, progress.
Okay, great, thank you. Ms. Kelly,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, I'm not going to be here next week.
can you give her a microphone?
Disappointed about
Microphone.
that. But I do want to announce that on Saturday, June 17th at 2 p.m., we are working with our Municipal Alliance and the New Beginnings Club here on Rose Avenue to have an open house. They are a club that is sponsored along with AA and Al-Anon, and they have 17 to 22 meetings a week at New Beginnings. It's a marvelous facility, and they'll be offering food, fun, and fellowship with speakers starting at 3 p.m. There will be information tables, and Municipal Alliance is working very closely with them to promote what they can do for us and for the community and for our people that need that kind of help.
And again, can you give us the dates again? And the
June the 17th at 2 p.m., open house, and it's at New Beginnings, 101C Rose Avenue in Runnemede, right behind the RY
Is
Fields.
it 2 o'clock?
Yes, 2 p.m., June 17th. I want to read a beautiful letter that we received from the Borough of Magnolia. On behalf of the Magnolia Police Department, I want to express my gratitude for the invaluable service provided by members of your department on April the 19th. On the evening of April 19th, my officers received a report of a domestic dispute involving an armed subject inside an apartment at Forest Gate Apartments, located at 108 Otter Branch Drive. Your personnel that responded to assist for this disturbance are to be commended for their exemplary work. I ask that you express my appreciation to your officers for their assistance that they provided that evening. Thank you again for your support, and I look forward to our continued working relationship. Chief of Police Robert A. Stetzer, Borough of Magnolia. Another wonderful letter. Chief Paul Daly, on Saturday, April 21st, around 3:40 in the morning, our family needed help. My fiance Joe was having a seizure. Well, that's what it looked like to me. I called 911, and within 5 minutes, Officer Ortiz was at my door. He checked his pulse because it didn't look like he was breathing. Officer Ortiz then ran out to get the EMTs. They went into the bedroom and began working on Joe. They got him off the bed and onto the living room floor. I got our kids and went out into the hallway. They were giving him CPR. They then had to shock him 3 times to get his heart started again. They were able to get a heartbeat and put a breathing tube in. My parents were here to stay with our kids, and I went to the hospital with Joe. Sunday night, Joe woke up and was able to answer questions. He's now making a full recovery. I just knew it. I just wanted to take the time to say thank you to everyone that were there that night. Because of your officers' quick response, Joe is home and getting back to his old self. We just want to say thank you to Officers William Ortiz and Rob Alexander, our family and friends. Would also like to give a big thank you to everyone that was here. I would also love to know who else was here. If you could get me that information, I'd greatly appreciate it. This picture is from Friday, May the 5th. Thank you. Chrissy Holshoe, Mark Martinez, Joey Martinez, and Maisie Martinez. And the chief asked me to read this at council, which I won't be able to, but here's Joe back to health with the children.
That's great.
Isn't that wonderful? We can pass that around.
He's a young man.
Yeah, young
Beautiful
fellow.
kids. Lucky guy, that's
Well,
fantastic.
in connection with that, we will be honoring EMS Supervisor John Ferret, EMT Tracy DeCant, and EMT trainee Michael Ellershaw. The Quint 75 crew, Station Chief Tom Bushio, Lieutenant Frank Hartman, firefighters Daniel Bushio, Daniel Fitzgerald, George Petticelli, and Jim Such. All these men were on duty that evening and tending to that gentleman. Virtua paramedics, Marianne Carell and Robert Accianis, and Belmore EMS and EMT Lady Chiquet and EMT Rodney Griffith. The description from Supervisor Ferret describes the group effort by EMS and the fire department, which resulted in a life being saved. The EMS and fire units worked and assisted with the patient treatment and transfer to the BLS unit, where both our EMS and virtual paramedics' efforts saved a life. Please contact me if you have any questions or to coordinate the recognition process. And these people will be recognized by citations from Deputy Marshal Fire Chief Fred Laverty and Fire Chief Pat Moriarty at council.
Okay.
They will be receiving
I did
citations.
get the email.
I do have a complete report, which I would like to put on the record. But do we have time for me to read this on the record, or would you just want me to?
Let's leave it.
Okay.
We'll add it.
But it's basically a report of what they did for this gentleman that evening. And they will be receiving citations from the fire chief and the deputy fire chief. Along with that,
What a week for you not to be here.
Along with that, on March 28th, I attended the JIF Annual Awards Banquet. Okay. Along with that wonderful banquet, we received the Annual Safety Management Program Award. Each year, if we meet our requirements, we are given a yearly award, and it goes on this big plaque that we have with all the years. So that goes to Fred Laverty.
And we met it.
And this is a certificate of achievement to the Borough of Runnemede. This carried a $500 award for reducing the number of lost time accidents in 2016 by 15% or more over the average for fund years 2013, 2014, 2015. And that also is an award that goes to our public safety director. This is another $500 award for Camden County Joint Municipal Fund Awards Borough of Runnemede for having 0 lost time injuries for the year 20. This is quite an amazing achievement. I don't think you understand how important these awards are. Very few towns get these awards. This is an amazing achievement. Of course, the crowning glory is because our safety coordinator, Fred Laverty, was so excellent in reporting on all these requirements, and he does this all year long. He was sponsored by our CFO, Rich Wright, for this very prestigious award. Was only given out one every year to one person. This is a $500 award too. For Fred Laverty, his tireless efforts in working with all departments and personalities, ensuring that training is completed and that everyone is on track for the safety incentive program, resulting in fewer claims. Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. So I'm going to ask you to present these, Mayor.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
With my regret that I'm not here to do it as the fund commissioner. It's just one of those unfortunate things.
Leave them
Yeah.
right up there. Yeah.
Take care.
Then-
At the council.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen, we're very.
That's all I have to
Very
say.
proud.
That's enough.
Okay, we'll go around. Mr. Farrell?
Thank you, Mayor. Most of the things I was going to talk about, we touched on South Oakland, Washington Avenue, the completion of that, also getting the grant for Elm Avenue and Broadway, which them roads really need help down there, so that's going to be a good thing. Also, work in the borough inside and out, phase 1 is almost complete. We just walked through it a few minutes ago, it looks great. And that'll be opening up the 5th or the 6th.
Any day now. Any day. As soon as the computers are moved, the doors will be open. I don't think Joyce wants to officially open it until Monday of next week, but it'll be unofficially open.
Soft
So you're
opening.
gonna be
It'll be a soft opening, you're right. It's okay.
stampede of people trying to
Yeah,
get
it's soft opening.
Ribbon cutting.
And
It's soft opening.
When is the ribbon cutting?
We're not gonna do that until after it's completed, because Freeholder Director probably wants to be here for that. So, because they're funding one.
Does anybody know when the ribbon cutting is for Cooper Urgent Care?
I haven't heard yet. There were some delays because of PSE&G hasn't moved that telephone pole. That was the last thing I was aware of.
That's when George
Yeah.
told me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, George
Yeah,
says.
but wouldn't be till after they move that. They can't open until that driveway is
Keep us
accessible.
posted. so we
Absolutely.
know Schedule vacation.
We talked about the sign, LED sign, which is going to really help the town. All the organizations.
3 months?
No, we'll be better than that. But anyway, all the rest progress, and
Okay. Thank
we're
you.
moving along very well.
You know, I just thought of something, if you don't mind.
Oh,
Once that sign's up, no one's gonna have an excuse. They didn't know, I didn't see it, no one told me. It's gonna be
well,
flashing.
They're gonna say, don't drive down the Black Horse Pike.
Yeah,
Come
they
on.
have to read it. They have to read it. They have
Mr.
to
Root?
read it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Harry's going to talk about a couple of things, but what I wanted to say is the relationship between the fields, rain, and fertilizer. We've been fertilizing a lot. It's been raining a lot. Fields, grass grows. So people are going to have to bear with us that the fact that it rains all the time, we're not going to be able to have the grasses cut every day. So the different organizations are going to have to realize that we're weighing out of balance. We're trying to keep it as regular as possible. But now that we don't have weeds on the fields, they grow a lot faster. Grass grows faster than the weeds. Even though everybody thinks weeds grow fast because you grow like a weed. But it's not. Grass grows fast when it's fertilized and it has food.
It looks great down there. It does look great.
The fields look great, but like the organizations just have to bear with us that
It's tough
we
season.
live in Seattle now and we're gonna deal with it.
It's been unbelievable.
And pretty much the rest is progress, but Harry's gonna.
Okay, we'll go right into Harry. Floor is yours.
Well, as you know, we got everything set up for Memorial Day.
Oh,
Great
it
job.
looked beautiful. Everything in the.
Can I say something? I just forget my brain. But I do have to say, Public Works, Harry, Mike, Bob, who else? Oh, Craig, I need to say thank you so much. I mean, these guys did a lot. Did you really? My beautiful, beautiful baskets. They did a beautiful job. They're wonderful as always. As always. Thank you. Thank you.
But we got the bike all taken care of, got it cleaned up. Street sweeper's been out. With that, we've been diligent with yard waste. Today was another day. Everybody's cutting their grass and the cans are filling up, so we're picking them up, so forth. With that, we got the pond out here, Borough Hall. We got that cleaned up and straightened up. With it, we are working on the benches and we're going to start working on the back parking lot. So we've been doing little tasks all over the place. So it's not all in one location, but we are trying to accomplish multiple tasks to completion completely. With that also, Mayor, I had one of our guys take the advantage when we do have somebody that does get injured on work. I had them go around and color chart the tax maps of easements where we have storm pipes and sanitary sewage going through properties. So I actually have 2 copies to pass on to whoever can look at for easements and so forth, which is a very large amount, but that was taken on also just so we can start that whole process. I know Mark's going to get into a couple of them.
Well, let me just elaborate. The idea is having light duty for individuals who are not completely incapacitated. So the idea is there's a lot of data that needs to be acquired. And right now, I think our sewer maps, I think we looked at, have been updated since the 60s.
1954.
54, I apologize. And so 54 was the last time we actually did the map.
Thank you, Meg.
Mr. Bayshort's excited about helping us with this. So maybe these kinds of things will help us out, because that's been running into a problem where we run into these easements, or lack of easements. We're still dealing with that, and I apologize, I need to get back on Bassett Avenue again. That's on my long list to take care of. But no, I think Mr. Bayshore and myself, well, you have a copy for your department, right?
I have a copy, but I have 2 here, so just showing, it's the little things like that that never gets done and puts on in the background, so we have been aggressively getting that taken care of.
And for those in the audience, didn't we find a manhole cover that someone built a garage over top of, or
Shed.
a shed, and poured concrete around it?
Yeah.
So, I didn't realize what that big ring was.
Also, Council President, June 10th, Queens Community doing the event that day.
You know what? Yes, we're having a effect.
Yes.
Clean off.
And the shredding event, correct?
We're having,
The
we're having,
townwide cleanup and the shredding event. So
yeah,
the
shredding is here at Borough Hall.
Was this at Borough Hall?
Shredding is gonna be held here at Borough Hall,
Okay.
okay? Just because there's actually a fee for the machine, for the
Okay.
equipment to go to locations.
So not moving it around. Because
Correct.
Ms. Pinto, you're gonna have all your stuff ready.
Already is.
Oh, we have to carry it downstairs.
What's the hours gonna be?
Joyce is not carrying it
Not my
downstairs.
job description.
Not your job.
I think it starts at 10 o'clock. I know the shredding machine will have for 3 hours. With that, like I said, it will be here, be available for residents. With the shredding, it's for confidential documents. It's not for magazines, newspapers, stuff like that. It's for confidential documents that you want to get shredded. So
So
that's,
10 to 2?
I do
Probably
believe it's 10 to 1.
10 to 1.
10 to 1?
Yes.
You're gonna limit it so we don't have businesses showing up with their,
We'll do our best. We'll do our best. Obviously, our intent is to do all the stuff that we have here in the Borough Hall that has to be shredded, and then to any of our residents who
And
show up.
cleanup down in Green Acres will be from 10 to 12. Yeah.
And there will be food and prizes
Yeah.
at that
Mhm.
or something.
Yeah.
But yes, just wanted to remind you for that. Anything else, Director, that we,
Well, Mr. Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, we need to say something about the apparatus that the Rotary donated. You said you wanted to,
Yes.
the musical instrument?
Yeah, the Rotary Club
Yeah, all right.
did an original donation for the Palmyra Pavilion, which council accepted, and now it's our responsibility. In the name of Mr. Interlanty, does everyone remember Mr. Jonathan Interlanty? He was a musician, I don't know if you remember Jonathan, he was a Glendora resident,
Yeah.
but he was very active in the club, and there was money that was raised, and yes, I think what we need to do is basically accept this, and then do we have any details of where it's being located? Do we need to get the JIF involved at all to let them know that these
What
These are-
is it that?
are outdoor musical instruments
He has a diagram of it.
that are being
So
donated?
excited. I
There
can't
there are
wait to
three,
see
there are three apparatuses that, they're musical instruments that the kids
Looks like a
can play with.
xylophone.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna replace the swing set that's down there and leaning tower, the swing set. So we're gonna remove that and put these apparatuses there.
Oh, so it's going in the playground.
It's going in the playground there, yeah.
Yeah, so the only thing we'll have to do is get John Seville back down to inspect it, and obviously our construction department, anything to make it done properly, 3-foot footings or whatever it's calling for.
we have the specifications for that, so in the next 2 weeks.
It's like a xylophone or something.
Yeah, it's a public works.
Also, it's a xylophone, I think there's a drum set, and it doesn't make terribly a lot of noise, anybody lives down by a green.
The age limits on these things?
Yeah. John again.
Anyone under 52,
If you're looking for John,
52 and under.
if you're looking for John, he'll be here.
52, all right.
Who's installing them?
Public Works.
So we are donating our time, that's fine. At the last one, just anybody know, Belmar donated the labor to install the footings and the pad. Donate to them.
Very nice.
So we're
Very
taking,
nice.
we're taking turns. We gotta get closer to township to do something with it.
Mhm.
Is there formal acceptance of that?
There has not been a formal, that's why I think they're bringing it up. Do you want to, you think there should be a resolution basically accepting, do we have a value, do we know what it's worth and things like that?
The actual price, we got a great deal, so I'm gonna say it's at least valued at $5,000.
Like, I don't know.
We'll take it.
Should we do something, Jen, maybe at the, why don't we do it at the council meeting, we'll just accept it, so that, it's for the Rotary Club.
Well, if you're thinking about doing it next week, maybe you could reach out to the Rotary president or someone and tell them that you're going to do this resolution, what's after that, and thank them, and then they come.
Okay, I will do that. Mr. Albano is the president of the council. You know, Michael. So, yeah, and then we'll, because we take ownership of it, because that's in the agreement, once it's on our property, it's on our ownership. Okay, anything else?
Progress.
Okay,
One
thank
quick
you.
question before we move away from Mary, and Mark, you may know as well. The bridges at Green Acres in the back, I saw Mark out there scoping them out. And I know there's a patch on the furthest one around the back. Are they on the agenda this year, next year? What are we doing there?
Yes, the engineer did an inspection on it, they're compiling a report right now.
Okay.
As soon as we get the report, we'll look at it, see what we have to.
Whether it's patch,
What's
rephase,
needed, and, yep.
and we'll talk about
If
that.
we're capable, we're not capable of repairing.
Something as simple as nail pops, right? There was some nail pops and twisting, but I saw you had that steel plate over it.
Yeah, Brock.
So I'm assuming we've got some bad treads.
Some of the handrails going over are bad, so I asked Mark to come out out, do a full inspection or.
So we'll have some
the
options maybe?
documentation.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
So it's just two instruments, it's the
Three,
It's three.
xylophone,
The
the drum?
xylophone, drums, and, maybe like a bells or something. Right?
It's gonna be great.
really pretty big.
Oh, I
Is there
can't
any
wait.
It's fantastic.
Great noisemakers, huh?
I can't
Oh, maybe two, yeah, the two apparatus.
wait. Xylophone and the drums.
Yeah.
There goes my quiet
But they're
waltz.
expensive, nice piece of equipment, they're very,
And they're very, very low tone, so when they hit them, it's like boom, boom, it's not real loud,
The
and,
drums are by hands, it's not drumsticks.
yeah.
So that's, so don't think that it's,
Wake up the neighbors.
Can't have, yeah, you can't have a
that's what I need, more phone calls.
band down there.
Mr. Solicitor, do you have anything else this evening?
Letters are out to the residents of Cali Court.
Yes.
I haven't gotten any responses. I dictated the letters yesterday, I don't know if they went out today, on the easement, I don't remember the name of it on the street, where the sheds are over there.
With the shed over time? No, that's an orchard or,
Yeah.
between two streets, remember there was the shed when we were doing the slip lining?
There were two people that we've got to get easements from, and we'll put our pipes under the ground.
Well, Bassett is the stormwater drain.
Shed.
There's shit over that one too, but there's a shit over a manhole cover, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's not the one.
That's not the one you did?
That's not the one I read to yet, and we have a negotiation session with the GWU tomorrow.
Should be exciting. Anything else?
Howard, if there's a shed over this manhole cover, does the shed have to be removed
Yes.
and the neighbor or the resident knows that, right?
Not until they get the letter.
See, we don't have an easement,
Oh,
that's the problem, we don't have it, that we can find,
oh.
so, and one of
So,
the things that
so
Harry is doing.
he doesn't know that manhole is.
Well, he knows that the pipe
Well,
collapsed.
he doesn't I mean, there's no formality to it, but, if you had a manhole on your property, you would hopefully figure that out. So I've written him a nice letter, saying, this is what's going on, we need to get you to grant us an easement, because we need to have access to be able to not only work on it now, because there's issues, but to work on it moving forward. And one guy, there was two people,
Yeah.
it's like the only one guy who said, well, I said, and I understand you have a shed on that area, in that area, so you need to tell us what you would like to do with the shed. Because if he says, I want my shed moved, then we're gonna move the shed, because
Because you don't have any.
there's no easy, and don't feel special, because it's very common in older communities not to have easements, because they just put the sewer pipes in, and then things happened around them, and nobody got the easements. Well, it would be hard, so hopefully these people will just consensually, grant a easement, these guys will go out, do a survey, a legal description, and we'll do a deed, and
And then we'll fix the pipe.
and then we'll fix the pipe. But we could get an agreement to allow us to work on the pipe while we're drafting the document. And the project.
Everyone else? We'll let you go. We'll leave on for the end because we have to go over a few things.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I submitted my report in writing, and we've talked a lot about some of the stuff in there, so I'm trying to skip over it. But I do want to touch on the grant we're getting for the $280,000 for Elm and Broadway. We had originally requested $366,900, so obviously we did not get fully funded, so we're going to have to prioritize what work we're going to do out there. So at a minimum, we're going to be redoing Elm Avenue from Smith Lane to Broadway and putting handicap ramps at Constitution Avenue. That's at a minimum. We'll look at it and see what money we think we have left off, and I'll coordinate with Harry about where we can prioritize other items in that stretch of the road. Most likely would be on Broadway, but we just have to decide what we want to do from Elm to the Pike or from Elm to the dead end. So we just have to look at that, but I'll be working with Harry to try and come up with the best way to use the $208,000.
So Bob, did you hear what happened? The DOT gave us $200,000 recently to complete Washington and Oakland, and then for some reason they moved very quickly and gave us another 208. So we weren't really prepared for this 208 so quickly. Why did they move so quickly?
Because it was a good application. This was, well, we got,
They love us.
the $200,000 we got last year was for discretionary. So that was after the 216,000 were announced. This is the normal 217,000.
Especially, this is our normal.
The application were due in February, but it was a good application given the location of the ball fields, the library. So it had a lot of points because it affects a lot of people.
Okay.
Not every town got funded, even though this is tied into the gas tax that was approved last year by the governor. But all the funding was held up because of that.
Gotcha.
And then usually
So
the
now
state
it's
aid
still-
applications were due in October, but that was all delayed. The applications were due in February, and now they were taking action on it.
Well, the only thing I would say, Bob, if you want to jump in, honestly, we weren't 100% prepared for this in our bond ordinance. So the idea is, Mr. Fisher has said that this is an 18-month application. I mean, I don't know how, maybe we can design the whole project, and then we can work on funding, even the way we did Washington and Oakland, where we went so far and then finished.
Well, is there any way to include that part of the parking lot?
If it's our own money, right? No, we couldn't do it with DOT money.
If it's outside the right of way, the borough would have to fund it. That would-
100% our funding, but we could tie them together. What Mr. Root's talking about is we have a public parking lot that's adjacent to these two roads. And that would be,
It's lower
to make it, combine it to make a decent project.
The issue is we don't have any additional capital improvement fund for a down payment on an additional amount over.
So we'd have to wait till 18.
So yeah, we have to wait till 18 or use our current budget to do that, or issue an emergency for the capital improvement fund, which we really don't want to do.
Well, maybe we do a phase 1, phase 2?
You can accept a grant, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you can spend down on the from the 208 only. So you could do that work and then, maybe look at next year. to
Okay,
fund the
finish it. So maybe do it like the
remaining
old
amount.
Well, it's good for 18 months, right?
Well, yes, but I think the idea was to go out as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Typically, when you have the base bid and then the ad alternate, so maybe we do base bid is just Elm, and then the ad alternate would be Broadway. And then the ad alternate is the parking lot, so maybe we do try to do it maybe next year. Would they supplement us again next year? Would we put the same application and say we didn't have enough money to do Broadway?
We can, which is what we did for Washington and Orchard, and a lot of times
Okay.
phasing it gets you bonus points as well, because they like complete jobs.
So we got options.
Good, good.
So we'll look at that,
I think that'll work.
we'll work with Harry on what the priorities are for that.
Mark, would you have that grant in hand, that's what
We have a letter that was accepted by the clerk?
It's a letter.
No,
They-
cash.
They
No.
They send the grant for signature, I believe,
Joyce, was there a signature I needed to?
not yet. It was
No.
just
So
the
just a letter.
announcement,
It's only the letter.
the announcements were just made last week. The letters went out from the governor, I think,
We
Thursday.
received it yesterday.
And usually what happens is they follow up with the actual grant that the mayor signed.
Good news. Good
Yeah.
news. Thank you, Mark. Nice job.
We talked about awarding that.
Yes, we're all good with that, we talked about that.
And the parking lot out here, there's some punch list items. I met last week with the contractor. I just haven't got a schedule for when they're going to do the repairs. Likewise, on the Borough Hall, our architects issued a punch list for the work to do inside, and there's some railing and some cleanup work outside. I haven't got a schedule back on that, but it is progressive.
Did he talk about a payment, does he need us to make a payment to that contractor?
I think on May 6th, they submitted payment number 2 for $95,587.
Can we pay that at the next council meeting, I guess? We didn't pay that yet, right?
Which one?
Yeah, we've been after.
Payment number 2,
Borough.
$95,587.
Okay.
For Borough Hall. Yeah, I'm not sure the status on that. But we did submit that.
Not sure that, I believe they already got that.
Okay.
I would imagine it is. And on the slip lining project, they have a pay app into us, pay app number 2. We are currently reviewing the post-install videos to confirm everything was done correctly. There are a few issues, so we're going to be making a recommendation to pay less than the $356,000. I'm just not sure what it is, but we're still going through videos for that. I believe they still have at least one more line to slip line. I think they're coming back next week. They were in the midst of doing an 18-inch line 2 weeks ago, and they were having problems with it. The lining failed when they were trying to cure it, so they had to pull it out,
Hold on.
and it was a mess. But Harry was on top of it, my inspector was on top of it, and I believe we had the fire company out here, or they were just on notice that
They were
got
just
calls.
on their part because
The odor, we didn't know if people would be putting out 911 calls because of the smell.
Okay.
What exactly happened?
The liner itself had a hole in it. They tried to bring up the pressure by injecting the hot water. They pressurized it, let it sit for a couple hours to cure the resins, but the liner itself had a hole in it.
So what's
And they
holding
couldn't-
pressure?
And it wasn't holding pressure or temperature, so they pulled it out before it was fully set, which is what you have to do. But it is a mess.
Wow.
So anyway, they're going to be back in town to do a couple more lines. We're trying to get the permission to get onto one homeowner site, because that is holding up slip lining to the lines that go into that manhole. So we're trying to get that resolved in the meantime.
And can I just ask you a question? You know, did you anticipate these problems with the slip lining prior to?
Did I
Well, it's one of the
anticipate-
reasons we hired.
That's why we're doing
That's-
it, yeah.
If you may recall, the borough was considering buying this equipment on their own, and we greatly said, we don't think you should do that because you take on the responsibility, because things do go wrong, there is liability, and that's
So
why,
if it were to, say it were to harden, we'd be digging up whatever road.
so, yes,
we
we didn't anticipate it, but it's not unusual.
Well, we did have some
problem.
contingencies for, like the
Point
extra work that
repair.
we had to do and some repairs.
Quick question about slip lining, because we've been talking about it in the newsletter. Do you consider, I don't know how many are getting done per week, per day? Is there and is one project, is it manhole to manhole?
Yes.
That's a project. So how many of those have been done approximately? Manhole to manhole? Dozens?
Yeah, 35.
35 so far?
It was a big amount, it was like
Okay.
$800,000 in slip line.
Okay, great, it's 35 or so?
And sometimes
There's a map.
if there's a straight line, they'll go through three, if it's straight, they might do 3 runs, and then they cut out where the manhole is. But you can't have any bends in it, and the one that goes through this person's property.
And one of your guys is monitoring each show?
Yes.
So we know it's done right.
And how do you have guys out there?
And then afterwards, we get a video. They do a pre-install video and a post-install video. And right now, our office is going through these post-install videos to make sure everything.
And how long is this gonna last us?
We'll be longer.
It's the same one on this
Okay.
book, the same one when you're watching on this book.
What you're saying is
By the
we'll
time
be
they're
dead and
finished.
buried.
It's 100 years pipe, so.
That's a better way.
Yeah,
Is that
Better way.
better? It's
Yes.
more polished than me.
And if you recall, we did have point repairs that we had to do on South Oakland. We did it as an emergency repair because we didn't have time to go out to bid. We awarded it to Ernest Finnegan. That work is done. Harry just sent me the pay app that was submitted. I guess we did 3 additional laterals on that.
Yes.
I'm reviewing that with my inspector regarding payment. I also have to talk with the UPA regarding how that went, because I'm not sure if we can do that work. Because our bid was $37,650, and we did, their estimate was a $5,000 change order, which was at $43,000. So I know some decisions were made on the spot to keep moving, because to put it out to bid would have kept South Oakland Avenue open. So we had to make so I'm just not sure.
So the laterals coming in were bad.
And so we had to do additional work, and decisions were made on the fly to keep going. So we just got to work out some details with that.
I'll probably like
So
Got that.
the Orchard Avenue sanitary, the project's done. We're just waiting on the closeout documentation, and then we'll make a recommendation to release the retainage. And the last item I have deals with the Deluxe Bakery, which was a private project. We were doing inspections. We're trying to get some curb installed on Clemens Bridge Road. I met with the county engineer. She is going to allow the borough to apply for a non-fee. No, she's allowing us to do the work as long as we don't hurt the road. It was just done, so we have to face form the curb.
It's fine, looks better.
And they're going to allow us just to redline the planning board approved plans that the applicant submitted, so we don't have to go through a full process of obtaining a permit or the cost of doing plans. We can just redline what we're proposing, submit them to her, and she'll push the process through.
And Bob, just so you're clear on this is a planning board resolution that was in conjunction with a county resolution. So the county required,
The county required the applicant to do certain.
yeah, driveway aprons and interior curbing, but didn't want exterior curbing on the roadside and sidewalks. So the contractor kind of said, how am I gonna do this? Dig a hole, it was gonna erode and things like that. So the resolution was for the municipality to pay for the curbing and just the curbing. And that would allow him to do the work he needs to do. And then he's willing to add sidewalks in. So he's willing to expand on his, for some reason, I voted against it, but the planning board gave him a waiver to put sidewalks in. And even if they forced him to put the sidewalks, we would have still been forced to put the curbing in. So they've agreed to put the sidewalks in, we've agreed to put the curbing in. So we're just gonna need to do this, but the problem is we're dealing with the county. And if she approved it,
She will approve.
that's great.
Based on us redlining.
So it's not a whole lot, I mean, what do we say, about 300 feet of curb? It's
What's
not-
face forming?
It's where, I mean, they saw cut the asphalt and they put the form on the outside so you don't have to disturb the road. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I never poured a curb in my
Usually
life.
when you install curb, you have forms on both sides that go down
Yes.
18 inches.
Yes.
And then after you pull the forms, you have to restore the asphalt.
Right.
Well, the county just paved that road, so they don't want to patch along their curb. So face forming is putting the form right on the asphalt. So instead of having an 18-inch deep form, you're only going to have a 4-inch form above the asphalt. And the hole will go down
On
18
the other
inches.
side of it.
And there will be a form on the back.
Right.
So you face form on the face.
It's still working, still curve, right?
It's
Still a
still
curb.
be a curb.
Yeah.
Curb is a curb is a curb. Curb is a
And it
curb.
still goes down 18 inches.
On one side.
Yeah. No, the whole thing goes down 18
Oh, okay.
inches.
It'll be a trench. And
The form will just be different,
Gotcha.
the way they set up the form.
If you go past Triton High School, we had one contractor dug and then had to repair the asphalt. And then the other contractor decided to do the face form because we had money left over. You remember that? Well, he did it two different ways. So he did it one way and then realized it was easier to just do the face
That's
form.
all you should?
Yeah, if you look at it, right in front of Triton High School, you'll see that where the stormwater inlet is. On one side, it was face formed, on the other side, it was dug out.
All right.
it also, if you're changing grades, you have to excavate in front. If you're just keeping the same grades along the road,
Okay.
then you can face form. We were changing.
So we're close to this now?
In the Triton area, we had to change grades to try and get water to flow to the inlets, because it was still flowing. So, we changed grades.
And that was a project that the county also funded, if you remember that. The county used to have money to do improvements, and those days have dried up also. That's your report? Thank you.
Questions about anything else?
I don't know. Mr. Long, just to let you know what we did already, just to get you up to speed. We did first reading for the bond. We did authorize, once again, all these things are contingent upon yourself to make sure that the funds were available. So the first one was, we did the bond ordinance, but then we authorized, the bids came in for the road project. Some of the additional money is coming out of our funding. So the 200,000 is coming out of DOT, but the bid came in at 226. So we approved Lambert to do the job for $226,000 and change, contingent on you approving that last 26,000. Now, there could be money in another bond, or, because Mr. Wood basically said that they can't spend any money now until we get.
So we could do it contingent on the funding, but no work can be commenced until we've demonstrated that the funding is planned.
And then the second thing that we need to look at was that so that was funding from the DOT, and the second thing we got funding from was the recreation grant. And the idea is we've got a JIF report that's asking us to repair this playground. So Mr. Wazon basically asked for a resolution from council to start the process to get the bids together and do that. What we were hoping there also was if we could fund it, and with the idea that 25,000 was coming in also.
Is the grant, what is it, what agency?
It's open space grant, this is 25,000 open space.
Is it received?
I do not believe so, just another one's a letter. We can show you the letter.
If the letter is received, what we can do at Tuesday, because I have another grant that I'd like to put on for budget insertion on Tuesday for the sustainable jurisdiction, $2,000.
Okay, so we'll put that 2,000 in also?
So I can put that 2,000 in if you give me the 25,000 letter.
Letter?
Who's got the letter?
Yeah, who has the letter? I don't.
Somebody's got a letter. I'll get the letter.
Yeah, the 25,000 can be inserted into the budget, and then you can spend from that.
Okay.
And
I
that's
have the
really it.
208, but I don't have the 20, I never got a letter.
Yeah, do you have the 2,000 letter also from Sustainable? There's three grants, the 208, the 2,000, and the 25.
2,000 for sustainable.
Well, Bob has that letter, so.
She already got the check.
Oh, you got the check from the 2,000 already?
She,
For the 2,000,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're good with the 2,000.
Are we gonna find that 25,000? You don't remember getting it?
I don't remember.
The reason I know about it is because that was the whole thing about the land with VFW and all that.
No.
We'll look at it.
We applied for it, I don't know if it.
I mean, everything we just passed tonight was contingent on funding, so.
Okay, yeah, so if we insert that into the budget, the money would then be available.
Okay.
To spend, so that was the issue.
So you're anticipating the grant money, and then
You're
you're.
anticipating the grant money, even though the money hasn't been received, and it's usually a reimbursement anyway on a grant, so you would spend it off of your budget
And
and
then-
get reimbursed.
Okay.
That's how grants usually work anyway. Most of the time, you don't get like $2,000, we did get it up front, but normally that is.
We would never get that.
You won't get 200,000, you won't get
So we're
that
done.
upfront. You're gonna get 75% of that. Once we send them the resolution, the award to Lambert, you'll get a 75% of the 200,000.
Did you want to add anything to Bob? This is your portion.
Well, first of all, sorry for being late. I'm still getting used to the timing.
We do change, we do it a little early for the caucus.
I was early for the 7 o'clock meeting, so I didn't realize it was, I guess it's 6. So I'll note that for next time. The supplemental debt statement will be filed for, it's required to be filed for the bond ordinance. That tells the state how much we have left in our 3.5%. So I'll be doing that calculation and getting that on file. The next question I have is, seems like we're going to be moving on this pretty quickly. I heard about the words bond anticipation note come out from Councilman Ranieri, so that'll be the next thing I'll be working on with bond council to get that moving. So we'll be eligible to issue $874,000 in bond anticipation notes, and we'll be working on that next. As you know, it takes 2 readings and 20 days for the bond ordinance to be effective. So that is something that I'm assuming will be the next reading.
Next reading is be at the next caucus on June 27th,
From June 27th, so the public hearing, and
which is my anniversary, but I will be here.
That'll be 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock the day before?
No, that's a
No, that's
Oh, that's
Caucus.
close.
Six.
6 o'clock, sorry, yeah, 6 o'clock.
We got a month of 6, beginning of the month of 7.
got it.
We make it a little
I'll
different.
get it.
Then we move some to Wednesday nights.
Yeah, they keep.
Yeah, keep it interesting.
Bob, do you know that the next council meeting is on Wednesday night because of the election?
Yeah, because elections, we have elections.
7 o'clock.
In this room.
7. Got it.
Did you have anything else? Anything with the audit?
Nothing on the audit yet. I haven't heard anything. I know they received information that they were looking for. I haven't heard when they're going to bring that to closure. I think it's just a couple of small outstanding items. Most of the audit work is everything.
Great. That's great.
Are there any questions on the bond ordinance?
I went through it a little bit. I explained the down payment, all the different items from all the different departments. And
The
then
5%.
the grant money that was inserted, that you inserted the DOT funding, the CDBG funding, and the other stuff. It was good.
Yeah, it was pretty cut
The three-
dry.
The 3.5% debt to asset ratio, is that what you're looking at right there?
It is 3.5% of our rateables you're allowed to have.
We will work on it.
Yeah, we will be, I don't see that being any issue whatsoever, but we're still required to file that.
We will talk about that after. Just let you know, we did accept Mr. Wright's resignation letter this evening. So what the solicitor's asking is our next steps. We'll talk about that afterwards, maybe a committee of how we're gonna move forward and things like that.
Very
Okay?
good.
Was there anything else? Okay, for all of you that waited this hour and a half, this portion of the meeting is open to the public. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Come on, you waited an hour and a half? No one? Okay.
Say something.
You were up here governing for a week.
All right. Someone want to make a motion, saying no one?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Okay, motion to close the good and welfare, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good and welfare is closed. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this
I'll
meeting.
second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Pasco, second by Ms. Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
We are